You got to make a presentation or a speech but not sure where to start? This video is for you. I'm going to give you 5 tips how to prepare a presentation or speech if you're not sure where to get started. If you're new to this channel, my name is Alastair and I've delivered more than 1,000 days training in the last 15 years in more than 12 countries, and also a lot of virtual training, including hundreds of days of presentation skills training. The first tip: how to prepare a presentation or speech if you're not sure where to get started. Don't procrastinate. Too many people procrastinate. They put off the preparation for a speech or a presentation because they're scared of presenting or they worried about it. Like many things in life, if we put it off, we hope that it's just going to disappear. But if you've got to make a speech or presentation at school, at university, college, or at work, or at some sort of event, or even a wedding, well, you're going to have to do it, so you can't put it off. So start your preparation as early as possible. As the saying goes, the early bird catches the worm. So start writing down some ideas, go for a walk outside, try and think of some ideas. You know, there's a lot of evidence that if we move our bodies, we're a lot more creative. So rather than sitting down in a chair in front of your laptop or computer, go for a walk outside, go and get some fresh air, and brainstorm ideas in your mind about what you could talk about in this presentation. So tip number 1, don't procrastinate. Get started early. The early bird catches the worm. So tip number 2, when you've got to make a presentation or a speech, you've got to think about who are the audience, how much knowledge do they have about the topic. Maybe they are school children, you're making a presentation in a school and they have not much knowledge, or they're fresh graduates, university or college graduates, so they don't have much knowledge on the topic. So you might start with somewhat more basic content. On the other hand, you know, your audience might be senior executives or very knowledgeable about your topic. And in that way, you want to go a lot deeper, you can use more technical terms and things like that. So for example, you might be an IT expert and you've got to make a presentation, something to do with cybersecurity or data or something like that. And your audience are non-technical experts. So they will not know most of the acronyms that you talk about in your day-to-day job. They'll not be so technical, so therefore you have to simplify your message. So tip number 2 is think about your audience. Now, who are your audience? What is their knowledge level and experience level? Right, tip number 3, very simply enough, is prepare your content. Think about what content would be most suitable for the audience that you're speaking to. And just a good tip here to prepare your content, try not to, if it's a business presentation, just get some slides that you used before, put some slides from one presentation, another presentation together, but think more carefully. You know, what are you trying to achieve in your presentation and what content could have the biggest impact? And one useful method is actually to use mind maps. Who's used a mind map before? Maybe at school or at work? If you've used mind maps before, please put something down in the comments about that. So if you're going to use a mind map, you put the topic in the middle, either on a piece of paper, or you might use an iPad or something like that, and think about what are the 3 to 5 main topics that you're going to talk about in your presentation. And for each of the main topics, you're going to put other lines with other key points around those 3 to 5 main areas. And then you can go to your slides or just plan and structure your speech or presentation in that way. And it's a lot better than just going straight into slides. So give mind mapping a try. So to sum up, the third method is think about your content and plan your content effectively. So the 4th technique is rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Simply enough, practice makes perfect. Now this sounds very easy, but I'm going to go a bit deeper here. I'm going to give you a really useful tip on a common mistake people make. Sometimes people rehearse, but they only read their slides, or they only sit down and just read the text that they're going to read out. What they don't do is actually say everything aloud. Say aloud, because when you make a presentation or speech, everybody goes quiet, they all look at you, and sometimes people think, oh my God, my voice is shaking, I sound really, really nervous. And they worry about what their voice sounds. But if you speak out loud when you're preparing, maybe go outside, go into a quiet room in your house, in your bedroom, whatever, you'll be used to the sound of your own voice, and it won't be such a shock when you make your presentation or speech. So when you are rehearsing, again, you started your preparation nice and early. You'll have plenty of time to rehearse. Give yourself more time than you need and do practice saying your presentation, saying your speech aloud. It can help you plan how long is it going to take, which bits you need to emphasize, when you need to speak a little bit more loudly, what small changes you could make, when you could add stories. Really, really important. Right, the fifth tip. Now, as long as you followed these other 4 steps, this is kind of a bonus tip, if you like, a slightly more advanced tip. So if you want to take your presentation or speech to that next level, you can think of something a little bit unique, a little bit out of the ordinary. Yeah, so tip number 5 is do something out of the ordinary. You might tell a story, you might ask the audience all to stand up or to put their hand up if they agree with a question that you ask. I'll give you an example. I made a presentation last year in Singapore to an audience of 160 senior executives. And it was about how to engage an audience when presenting. And what I did after about 5 minutes, I got the whole audience to stand up, and I demonstrated some gestures that they should avoid, such as putting their hands next to their waist or behind their back. And then I demonstrated some good gestures, some open gestures, and they were all 160 senior executives, maybe the average age roughly 40 to 60 years old. They were all doing these gestures while standing up in front of the room. So it was a bit different, it was a bit engaging. It was something memorable. Unfortunately, I had a lot of positive feedback from this presentation. Of course, that wasn't just the only thing. There were videos, there were stories, I'd taken a lot of time to plan and think what content can be useful for my audience. So next time you make a presentation or you make a speech, if you want to take it to that next level, think about what can you do that's out of the ordinary, unique, or something a little bit different. The kind of icing on the cake, if you like. Look, to sum up, the 5 tips that you should follow when making a presentation or a speech, if you're not sure where to start, are as follows. Number 1, don't procrastinate. Start your presentation or speech preparation as early as possible. Number 2, analyze your audience. How much knowledge they have about your topic. Number 3, prepare your content effectively and consider using mind maps, which is quite an interesting and engaging method for your preparation. Number 4, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Practice makes perfect, but don't only read out, actually speak aloud. And 5th and finally, think of a wow moment, something out of the ordinary, unique, that you can use to ramp up the quality of your presentation and create an emotional impact. If you follow these 5 tips when making a presentation in any context, I'm optimistic that your presentation will be a big success. So please type in the comments, which one of these 5 tips are you going to try and follow in your next speech or presentation? So if you found this video useful, please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this to help you take your presentation skills to the next level. See you on the next one. Shut it down. Shut it